Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to week 21 of our art class. The purpose of our lesson today is differentiating or telling the difference between geometric shapes and biomorphic shapes, okay? And we're going to utilize both of those families of shapes, but first we need to understand or gain knowledge or better understanding of the differences between them. So a good way to look at it is by singing our little song that I usually teach you in kindergarten, okay? So bear with me. I know that you all know the song, but this is how it goes. Biomorphic shapes, have no names, have no names. They are found in nature, they are found in nature. Now we know, now we know. Now that's for the little guys, right? The little kids. To remember that biomorphic shapes don't have a name. This could be called a lollapalooza. This could be called balula, whatever, right? We could name these things whatever we want, but they don't have a specific name. They are not recognizable or identifiable, right? As these geometric shapes are. The geometric shapes we know to be specific to their names, right? So if I point to this one, you know that this is called a what? I hope you know that, yes. A circle, absolutely. A circle, a triangle, a square. These cannot be confused with any other name, just like we can't be confused by any other name, right? We have our own names and our own identities. And the geometric shapes all have a name and are all made perfectly. They're either all made perfectly straight or perfectly round, and you can use a tool to do so. So we can use a ruler to make these lines and edges perfectly straight. We could use a compass, which is a different tool, to make things perfectly round. And these shapes, the biomorphic ones, they are not perfect. And why? Because they are found in nature. Think of it that way. They're found in nature. Nothing in nature is perfect, right? Perfectly straight, perfectly round. So the biomorphic and geometric shapes we are going to use together in our artwork. And the artist that we are going to be learning about is Louis Comfort Tiffany. And what's cool about him is that he started his artwork out in the 1800s, right? Late 1800s into the early 1900s. So that's a long, long time ago. But what's cool about his artwork is that we have seen artwork that is like his in our everyday lives, right? So he was an American artist, and his dad was an owner of a company. And he used to make lamps and furniture and build things out of steel and wood and those raw materials, right? And Louis was supposed to go into the family business and also make furniture and weld things with steel and things like that, right? And he said, nope, I'm not interested, Dad. I'm an artist. I'm going to go become an artist. And so he tried, and he went and he painted, and eventually his artwork became liked, and he started to sell the pieces. And he realized that growing up in a family that made artisan or handmade furniture and home good products, right? Like things that we use to decorate our homes with, he decided that he was going to make his artwork out of glass, stained glass. Now, I know this is just a copy. This is not stained glass, but this is a photocopy of his work called Magnolias and Irises. And some of his artwork can be found at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City in Manhattan. And he was a New Yorker. And we have seen Tiffany lamps. The Tiffany company that's in Manhattan, that is the company that his dad and his family began. And then it was purchased by a different owner. But his artwork was made by coloring glass and then cutting those pieces of glass with machinery and then putting it together and gluing it together with lead. And the place that we have all seen stained glass is typically in churches, in some high-rise buildings as decorative art pieces. And so we are going to make our own stained glass. Now, I know that we're not in school right now, and so not everybody has tracing paper, right? So I'm just gonna show you a very old example that I have of a stained glass window. Sorry, I'm turning an extra light on here. If you look right here, I did this with markers and tracing paper, which is, listen, it's like a more delicate piece of paper, and you can see the light pass through this sheet of paper. So by using markers and oil pastels, which some of you have, you can create the look of stained glass. So I have on my table here a lamp, and as you can see, when I put my piece in front of this lamp, the light goes through the paper and it projects a beautiful effect of having the light pass through it, and it actually looks like a stained glass window, right? Like in the churches, right? And so we are gonna try our best to do that. And if you have tracing paper at home, that's great. You can use a piece. Most of us don't have a piece of tracing paper at home. This is a piece of parchment paper. You use it for baking, and so some of you might have it in your kitchens, some of you might not, most of you won't, and that's okay. If you don't, you can simply do it on a regular piece of paper, right? And the light will still go through it somewhat, if you can see there, right? So it's a really nice effect, and it's worth trying it out, right? So try to get the thinnest piece of paper, maybe a piece of copy paper, or if you only have regular paper, do regular paper, right? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just use markers and regular paper today, okay? Because that's what most of us have at home. But I did want to show you that example, and we're gonna start out by simply making a border. Here's another one that I did so long ago, and you can see that it started to tear on the edges, but if I put it up against the light, then you can see the colors a little bit brighter. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use both the geometric shapes and the biomorphic shapes together in our piece. So you need just a regular piece of paper and a pencil, and you need maybe something round to trace. And the reason why I say that, let me just turn this extra lamp off here. Okay, we need to use we need to use geometric shapes to make our border. So here's my example for this one, and this is just a regular piece of paper. As you can see, I made my border, or my frame around my piece, by using rectangles and squares, and I alternated it to create a pattern. So I made rectangle, square, rectangle, square, rectangle, square. These I made at school with our manipulatives, right? Our tracing shapes that we had in the art room. I don't have these here at home, so anything that you can trace that's going to produce a geometric shape, please use it. I'm gonna use a water bottle cap, or if you have any cap like this from a spray bottle or a hair product or something, I'm just gonna use something round, okay? Because most of the things that we have in our homes produce a round shape. We don't have many little boxes or cubes, but if you do, or triangles, but if you do, please feel free to use them. If you have a ruler, that would be great. If you don't have a ruler, then you can just use a piece of paper to make a straight edge. But I'm gonna take this bottle cap and I'm going to go as close to my edge of the paper as I possibly can. And I'm going to trace. So my border or my frame around my paper, I'm going to make in circles. And I'm just tracing in pencil, and I'm gonna make sure that I make my circles touch one another. So I don't wanna leave spaces between them. And this takes a little bit of a while, but it's totally worth it in the end because your artwork is going to come out fabulous, really terrific. Another thing that I was gonna say is that for this week, you are only responsible to make a line drawing in pencil. What does that mean? You are not adding color this week. Right now, we are just gonna focus on our border and the composition. You say, composition. Good. Composition means you are composing, as you do in music, you are composing or putting together the layout for your image, right? So whatever it is that you're going to draw a picture of, you are going to draw it and kind of map it out. So here you can see, or maybe you can't see, I'll pull you closer. Okay, you can see all my circles here. And if you can't, then let me do it let me trace these in a marker. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my geometric circles and I'm going to make a border or a frame all around my paper. Okay, so now you can see my circles. And I'm going to continue in marker just because this will speed up the process a little bit for you. But you're gonna do it in pencil, please, so that if you make a mistake, you can erase. And notice I'm going as close to the edge of the paper as I can and still being able to produce the shape of a circle. And it does take a little time, but it's okay. So now I have two sides of my page that are lined with circles. And if I can fit one more here, then I'll do that. If I can't, I'm not gonna worry about it. I could always just cut the paper here, which I think I might do. Nah, I won't. I'll keep it like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue tracing, but it's very difficult to trace in that marker, so I'm just gonna trace very quickly. I keep moving my bottle cap and still touch one circle to the other so that there isn't any space in between. And there's a reason for that, which you will find out in a few minutes. And here's my last one up here. And now I have just this top edge. And like I said, if you have something that is a small square or a small triangle, maybe you have blocks from your siblings, you can certainly trace those geometric shapes to create your border. And this one didn't match up quite perfectly, but we'll do the best we can. Maybe I'll just adjust that circle. Okay, so now we have a border. Let me quickly do this, and then I will show you the rest. So as you can see, I only had a circle shape for this piece, right? And for this piece that I made on paper, I had a rectangle and a square, rectangle and a square, and so I could alternate the shapes to create a pattern. It's okay if you only have one shape, like I do here, to make your border. Or you could do all triangles, or you could do all squares, whatever you want. Okay. I just thought everybody would have a water bottle cap, so that would be easy. Now, I am going to enclose my border. I have a ruler. All I'm going to do is go right next to the edge of my circles and make a straight line, right? To frame it in. If I don't have a ruler, all I have to do is take a piece of paper, any piece of paper, and fold it to make it a little bit sturdy on the fold. And I use the piece of paper as my ruler substitute. And that's all I do. And I go right here so that my edge of my paper or the edge of my ruler kind of touches those circles. I hope you can all see what I'm doing. And now I have created my border or my frame, right? Okay, great. Now, I wanted to talk about the interior now, right? So here I have a flower, Lewis Comfort Tiffany, his magnolias and irises here. They are showing branches, and I see some mountains in the middle ground, and I see the sky in the background, and these beautiful irises, which are flowers, here in the foreground. So I need you to think of an image that is part of nature, right? And so we can just start by drawing lines. Maybe we're going to make a curved line like this coming down. And I'm going to continue that actually. Okay. And now I'm going to make like a little stream. That's going to be my grass up here. This is going to be my stream coming down like this. And I'm just making some lines, but by making the lines and connecting them, now I am creating biomorphic shapes, right? This right here, does this shape or this enclosed space have a particular name? No, it doesn't. We don't call this a square or an oval or a diamond. No, it is not a geometric shape. It is a biomorphic shape, right? So we're going to break that up into some biomorphic shapes. I'm gonna put a lake back here. I'm gonna add this line. This little stream or this little creek or whatever it is goes down and leads into this water. That's what I'm gonna make there, water. And maybe I'm gonna put some mountains like Lewis Comfort Tiffany's in the middle ground. So I'm just going to draw these lines, right? They just look like a bunch of shapes as if you were putting a puzzle together, okay? Think of it that way. And none of these are perfect, and they are not geometric shapes. So I have maybe 2 mountains there. This is going to be water. This is going to be water. I have some land here. Maybe this will be grass, and this will be grass. And maybe I have a sun up here. I don't know. It's your choice. You can make your drawing whatever you want. You could draw a flower. You could draw a tree. I showed the rays of the sun. These were representing the rays of the sun coming from this corner. This is my grass. This is my tree. Louis Comfort Tiffany's lamp right here. He's showing flowers at the bottom and some stems, or it looks like bamboo, right, coming down from here. And so you can absolutely create whatever seascape, landscape, whatever image you find in nature that you like to look at, you can draw it in the center, okay? So I'm just showing you that. And that is really it. That is all we're going to do for this week. Maybe I'm gonna put my sun, I don't know, over here, and it's setting or rising. I really like that. And I'm gonna add some lines, but maybe I'm going to curve my lines so that they're not perfectly straight. Or maybe I want to put some biomorphic shapes here to represent clouds, right? I don't know. Whatever it is that I feel like doing, and I'm just making simple lines, right? And by making lines curved and connecting them to one another, now as you can see, this has now become a shape. This has now become a shape. This right here has become a shape, an enclosed space. However it is that we've drawn our lines, but it is an enclosed space, which makes it a shape. And in this case, these shapes are what? That's right, boys and girls, I'm proud of you. Biomorphic. So we're using a combination, right, together, biomorphic shapes and geometric shapes or shape in this case. Okay? And that is our lesson for this week. That is all that you are responsible for, is your pencil drawing. If you'd like to trace all of your lines, your pencil lines, in black marker or crayon, please do, because that is what we're going to end up doing. That is going to represent or try to look like the lead that is used to create the stained glass windows, sorry. And so that is it. I am so excited to see what you come up with. And remember, you are able to draw anything that is in nature or part of nature in here, okay? So yeah, have fun, and I'm excited to see what you come up with, all right? Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. Bye.